Om Satchidanandarupaya Vishvotpatyadihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Numaha. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratascharteshvabhignaswarat Tene brahmahridaya adikavaye muhyanti yatsurayaha Tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha Dhamna svena sada nirastakuhakam Satyam param dhimahi Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo Nirmatsaranam satam Vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam Tapatrayon mulanam Shrimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Kim va parerishvaraha Sadyo hridyavarudyate trakritibihi Shushrushubistat kshanat. With your eyes still closed, invoke toughness, evoke hope. Hari Om, and greetings from Niagara Falls. When the ends is clear, the means become clear. Always remember that. If the ends are clear, the means are clear. If the ends are unclear, the means will too. In the study of bhakti, there are many frameworks. Two simple frameworks are Shanta Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. Shanta Bhakti is when you have the feeling, I am His. I am His. Prema Bhakti is when you have the feeling, He is mine. He is mine. Prema Bhakti, He is mine, is a devotion where there is no inhibition. No inhibition. Like a child feels, this is my mother, my father, they're the best. That child has no inhibition, correct? About clothing, about being dirty, words they use. In other courses, in other classes, the way I shared this with you, you have no sense of balance. Balance implies the secular and the sacred are equally important. Correct? And I've shared with you, you should be reckless with the sacred. Abandon the secular. No inhibition, no balance. These are signs, these are means to develop Prema Bhakti. Giving you more grips. Imagine we're climbing. More grips to climb. Prema Bhakti begins with Shraddha. Shraddha in English means faith. To have faith that he lives as me. Initially, it may feel like he lives in me, but eventually you should feel he lives as me. When you have the faith that he lives in me, you will never give yourself anything that is impure. Agreed? You won't think impurely, you won't speak impurely, you won't act impurely. If I can reference when Sheila was pregnant, how she thought, how she spoke, and specifically what she ate changed. Because within her was an entity that's so sensitive. Now that's a fetus. In terms of the divine, that's even more sensitive as if. If one has faith, they do away with inputting impurity. That means no more cereal. You eat oatmeal. This evolves to artha. From Shraddha to artha. Artha is defined as meaning or value. You have much more significant value for the divine, for him, rather than anything that is not him or associated with him. I use the words sacred as compared to secular. Our artha tends to be in accounts, correct? Your checking account, your savings account, your investment account, your retirement account. Real artha is when your account is on punya, satsang, vidya, etc. And artha evolves to yajna. Yajna, and this means the readiness to let go of all not associated with him, all that is not him. See how artha is being dedicated to him? But we tend to hold on to both, correct? But yajna has required that sacrifice to let go. Let go of stress, let go of control. I had read a lovely message that shared, let go to let God. If we don't let go, we think we are God, yes? All that I've shared with you, prema bhakti, there is no inhibition. There is only imbalance. Shraddha, artha, yajna. This is all leading to ananya. Anya means other. Ananya means no other. Anya is dvaita, duality. Ananya is advaita, non-duality. He is mine. That's just language, but the feeling of oneness. And this is the vision of Vedanta and Bhagavata. The skanda that we're entering has many, many, many lovely narrations that are katha in orientation. To truly appreciate this katha, you need Vedanta. So this morning, I'm going to share some deep Vedantic insights so that when you hear or read about the katha, it's not just a katha. You have that Shraddha, Artha, Yajna. Shraddha is catalyzed by Vidya. Your faith is facilitated by knowledge. When you know a car is safe, you have more faith driving it, correct? If there's a car that's very old, the tires, the brakes, you don't take that on long road trips, correct? You don't have faith in that car. So faith is facilitated by knowledge. Brahman, or infinity, cannot be grasped, cannot be understood by that which is finite. Your BMI, and definitely the ego, is finite. So what are we supposed to do? We can't do anything, but what infinity does is expresses as Bhagavan or virtues. Brahman as Bhagavan, that's Sanskrit. Infinity as virtues. Now think of this logically. I need you to be active in your thinking here. The rest of the time, be passive. But right now, be active. In oneness, infinity is oneness. All virtues are so natural, isn't it? Like fearlessness. You're not afraid of yourself. Like sacrifice. You're ready to sacrifice anything for yourself. How beautifully Brahman expresses as Bhagavan. Bhagavan is virtues with a form and name. And this is so natural. And making this even more relatable, virtues are natural to us. Whenever you experience sadness, anxiety, stress, anger, fear, attachment, you don't like yourself, correct? You don't like how you feel, which is why you try to change that. Shopping, eating, fighting, whatever it is. But in terms of virtues, if you're practicing patience, the only thought that comes to your mind is, I hope I can live like this forever. Correct? When you're being generous, your only feeling is, I hope I have more opportunities to be generous. See how virtues are natural to you? Which means Bhagavan Krishna is living inside of you. Which means you are infinite. When Rishi Prahlada shares with his friends 9 rungs of devotion, 9 practices of devotion, the last 3, the top rungs, are known as Dasya, Sakhya, Nivedana. And let me check that. Atma. The top one is Atma. Dasya means servant, Sakhya means friend, Atma means oneself. This is exactly how Bhagavan Krishna lives with the people we're about to meet. To some, he's a servant, correct? In the Bhagavad Gita, is he the warrior or the charioteer? He's the servant, no? In terms of Sakhya, nobody has more spouses than Bhagavan Krishna. He is the Sakhya of all. Even those who are insulting him, Shishupala, Dantavaktra. You may not know this, but at the end of the day, when they were fighting in the Mahabharata, when Arjuna would be sleeping, Bhagavan Krishna would bathe the horses, comb them, and massage their feet. Those horses were his best friends. And Atma, like Devi Mira, merged with him. Or did he merge with her? Same with Bhagavati Radha, correct? Where did she go? He became every relationship so we can relate to him. And throughout his life, he lived in the same world we did, but never became of the world. In the world, but not of the world. I believe I shared in our Drigdrisha Viveka course to live like Padmaja, Kamala, to grow from the muck, but not to be mucky. Bhagavan Krishna had endless relationships, and I hesitated because I used past tense. Bhagavan Krishna has endless relationships. 2 sets of parents, correct? Already more relationships than us. All of the friends in Vrindavana. He was a minister, he was a king, he was a priest, he was everything. And in every relationship, he is dependable. I recently had read, when you know about the dependability of Bhagavan, what grows is Bhagavan's lovability. Think about the people you respect the most. Aren't they the most dependable? And if you think of a relationship that frustrates you, it's one where there's a lack of dependability, correct? I never thought of Bhagavan as being dependable, and that's my ignorance. And when I had read this, it came so clearly to me. Dependability, every relationship. Throughout the Bhagavatam I'm studying, Bhagavan Krishna is described as the Redeemer. Redeemer. We generally lack self-confidence. Can you relate to that? And one expression of this is, I don't deserve enlightenment. But that's not for you to decide. That's for Bhagavan to decide. He is a redeemer, and this is why he's so attractive externally, so that we get absorbed in him. There's a logic to even that thought process. Do you know who's known as the most ugly Devata? Who's the most ugly Devata? Kubera. Kubera is known to have 3 legs, 1 eye. He needs braces. All of those kinds of matters. You know why? Because we're not supposed to be attracted to him. We're not supposed to be absorbed in wealth, external wealth. How airtight Sanatana Dharma is. A vacuum of perfection. All that I've just shared, Shraddha is facilitated by Vidya. You will know, here is your metric, that you're flowing in this direction when your love for Bhagavan is spontaneous, like an instinct. Like an instinct. If something is dropping off of your table, don't you instinctively try to catch that? You don't have to think about it. There's no calculation, there's no expectation. You just try to catch it. That's how spontaneously, instinctively, we should feel, he is mine. Having established more context, we come back to Bhagavan Krishna's birth. When Sri Nanda goes to visit Sri Vasudeva, Sri Vasudeva shares such a brilliant insight. He says, referring to Sri Nanda, we are like leaves in water. If you've ever seen leaves or grass in water, at times they're together, at times they're separate. At times they come together again, at times they're separate again. Be prepared for that. Sri Vasudeva is saying that to Sri Nanda because he knows the asuras are coming. For us too, be prepared with all of the articles, beings, and circumstances around you. See them as leaves. You're a leaf, I'm a leaf, time is water. The leaves will come together, the leaves will be apart. When you see that happening with leaves, what do? You smile. To try the same in this reality, This preparation that Sri Vasudeva shares with Sri Nanda, see, he's already gone through this, isn't it? How much he had to let go of. His wife is in a different cell. His infants were murdered. He's already experienced this, so he's not sharing theoretically. He's sharing this is reality. This is all a practice in tapa. Tapa is when you voluntarily live in an uncomfortable way, burning down your comfort zones. Uncomfortable, another way to look at this, is to not depend. Not depend. Because whatever you're depending on, that's flowing in time too, correct? In that water, it's coming, it's going. Only if you engage in practicing independence will you have enough titiksha. Titiksha means endurance for Bhagavan Krishna to be born in you. To be born to Sri Vasudeva and Sri Devaki. They had enough titiksha because of their tapa. Bhagavan Krishna is born inside of us, but if we're always pulled to the outside world because this is uncomfortable and that's changing and no one is dependable, you will never know that he lives inside of you. Acharya Shankara has shared this so vehemently in the Sadhana Chatushtaya, in one of the qualifications that is needed to be free, it is titiksha. Without titiksha, you can't think. When Bhagavan Krishna arrives in, you all know this as Vrindavana, correct? You know what the original name is? Brahat Vana. Vrindavana has come in a more casual way. The original name of where he's residing is known as Brahat Vana. What does Brahat mean? Infinite. So yes, he's living in a large jungle, but if he's there, that has to be infinite, correct? Brahat Vana. Kamsa is told that his destroyer has been born. So Kamsa thinks he can destroy his destroyer before he's destroyed. So he begins sending his asuras. And the first asura is Putana. Putana is an icon for incompleteness, ignorance, avidya. And she's made puta. That na is taken away, and she is made pure. The next asura, Shakata. Shakata means cart. When Bhagavan Krishna as an infant was sleepy, and this is the middle of Bharat, and it's August, so it's super hot. So his mother, Shri Yashoda, she puts him under this cart. It'll be safe, it'll be cooler. And what that really symbolizes, as long as we put articles, beings, and circumstances, all that stuff in the cart, above the infinite, above the divine, our world is going to come crashing upon us. If not today, tomorrow. If not this lifetime, next lifetime. Until we realize or have the faith to put the sacred above the secular. And so I shared with you, whatever you get, what should you do with it? Give. And here's one more measurable about this. When you get something, the feeling you should have is, I'm okay. And when you give something, you should have the exact same feeling, I'm okay. When Bhagavan Rama was told, you will be the Raja, what did he do? In English, he said, I'm okay, correct? He smiled. And when that all was taken away, what did he do? He smiled. You get, I'm okay. You give, I'm okay. We continue. We enjoy meeting asuras, correct? It's like meeting our family members. It's like a family reunion. If you tell your family that, you said it. That never came out of my mouth. You said it. The 10th skanda, the 7th adhyaya, the 27th shloka. 10, 7, 27. Rishi Shuka continues to share with Raja Parikshita the katha of Bhagavan Krishna. Tamashmanam manyamana atmano gurumattaya gale grihita utsrishtum na shaknod udbhutarbhakam na shaknod adbhutarbhakam. Tamasham, this asura, the one who is evil, Manyamana starts to feel Atmano Guru Mattaya, that the one that is close to him is as heavy as a mountain. Gale, show me your gale, your neck. Gale grihita utsrishtam. And as much as he tried to shake off Bhagavan Krishna, what was Bhagavan Krishna doing? He was holding onto his neck tightly. Na shaknod adbhutarbhakam. And he just couldn't shake this baby that is holding his neck. Who is this evil one? Trina Varta. Number 3, Trina Varta. This is the 3rd asura. I'll elaborate. Before this episode happens, this narration, Shri Yashoda was feeding Bhagavan Krishna. And as she was feeding him, he was becoming so heavy that she couldn't hold him anymore. So she placed him on the ground and started praying that he not be possessed. You would feel the same way, no? I carry our kids around and I think they're possessed. They break my shoulders, they break my back. So she places him down and starts to pray. See how she's sort of lacking faith in Bhagavan Krishna. And once he's placed on the ground, Kamsa, he's directing his asuras, go and find my destroyer. And so Trina Varta is set. And I like thinking about this, not just with the words, but seeing this in my mind. Have you all seen a horror movie involving a child? They're quite scary. Those are the scariest types of movies, correct? So she's experiencing the same. Now Kamsa, he's afraid. And when you're afraid, what do? You start fighting, correct? Flight or fight. And in that fight, you just start throwing everything. Putana, Shakata, now Trinavarta. When Bhagavan Krishna was on the ground, Trinavarta comes in the form of a tornado. If you know anything about tornadoes, they come fast and hard. Unlike hurricanes that come in slower and softer, tornadoes are not like that. And quickly lifted Bhagavan Krishna to the top of that tornado. And when that was done, this tornado was picking up so many stones and sadly projecting them at everyone around, and everyone was hit by those stones and they became unconscious. That would have hurt a lot. Now, as Bhagavan Krishna is at the top of this tornado, he can feel, he can see that asura, so he starts to hug Trinavarta. Because he's having fun, right? Which kid doesn't like to be on a swing or a ride? So he's holding on tightly. And then Trinavarta comes to realize how strong Bhagavan Krishna is, so he takes him higher. Again, this reminds me of the Hulk movie, where they take Hulk higher and higher into space so he can't breathe until he finally falls down. But that's the Hulk, okay? This is Bhagavan. So Bhagavan holds on even more tightly. And Trinavarta does everything he can to shake Bhagavan, but he can't until that same manifestation of air suffocates. And when he suffocates, Bhagavan Krishna on top falls on that body. Now that tornado has become an asura's body and lands on a rock and is shattered into countless pieces. And that's the end of Trinavarta. Now one more happening shortly after this, and then I'll explain the Vedanta. You've read about all of this in comic books. One time, near the end of this chapter, Shri Yashoda again is feeding Bhagavan Krishna. She's feeding him on her breast, and he pulls off and yawns. Show me a yawn. Vivekji, you don't have to ask us. We've been doing that for 33 minutes. With a wide mouth. And what does she see inside? She sees the whole multiverse. The galaxies, the solar system, the earth. She sees all of that. And when this is revealed to her, what does she do? Closes her eyes. And I like that detail because we're like that too. Whenever we're sitting in contemplation and we feel so expansive, we become afraid, correct? Oh, I need to come back for dinner. Okay. One simple insight into Trinavarta. I keep saying Trinavarta. It's Trinavarta, long A. Is symbolic for desire. So this is the third vice. Ignorance, materialism, now desire. Whenever one feels incomplete, that's putana. When you feel incomplete or insecure, what do? Look around. One is distracted. And what do you see? Materials, correct? Materialism. And once you see all of those materials, a storm of plans to procure those materials or those A's, B's, and C's come into our personality. That's why the third asura is desire or kama. Did you see the logic? I feel sad. Instead of going inside, I go outside. I see so many shiny things. Then I want them. I need them. That is kama or desire. How do we choke desire? Just stop having desires, right? When you desire the divine, what happens to all of your desires? They become quiet. When you desire the divine, you become desireless. This is the consistent messaging of Bhagavad Gita. Act for actionlessness. Desire, desirelessness. And that's why I pointed out to you, what did Bhagavan Krishna have in his mouth? Everything. If you have Bhagavan Krishna, you have everything. If you have everything, that doesn't mean you have Bhagavan Krishna. In a very relative way. If everything I've shared is too much Vedanta, too much Bhagavata, desire development. You should like and love converting values into virtues. You should like being more patient. You should love being more generous. If you can desire development, you will find your best friend. Your first best friend is your own mind, or better is your intellect. Your first best friend is your intellect. Once you befriend your intellect, this friend will lead you, and using friend is wrong, will lead you to Atma. From Sakya to Atma. Who was Prince Arjuna's best friend? Bhagavan Krishna, the intellect. And who did Bhagavan Krishna lead Prince Arjuna to? Back to himself, his own Atma. So everyone who is an extrovert, everyone who experiences FOMO, now you've learned in Vedanta and Bhagavata to desire development. Oh.